जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानन्दन व्रज जन रञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवेशाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री सिद्धांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस प्रवेशाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की षड्गोस्वामी वृंद की श्री राधा गोविंद गोविंदराज की जगन्नाथ बल्लभ सुब्रमण्या की श्री निताई गौरांग की all Louis Devotees, all Louis Devotees, all Louis Devotees, all Louis Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada की नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय We are reading from Canto 11, chapter 7 and verse number 43. Please say it after me. Tejaha apa anna mayai megadhyai vayuna na sparshete nabha tatvat kalashishte gunai puman to tejobi anna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman tejopanna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman tejopanna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman tejopanna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman tejopanna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite na sparshete nabastatvat kalashishter gunai puman. Matis. Tejopanna mayer bhaver megadhyai vayunerite kalashishter gunai puman. What word meaning? Tejaha, fire. Apa, water. Anna, and earth. Maya, consisting of. Bhave, by objects. Megadhyai, clouds and so on. Vayuna, by the wind. Iritai, which are blown. Nasparshete, is not touched. Nabha, the ethereal sky. Tatvat, in the same way. Kalashishte, which have been sent forth by time. Gunai, by the modes of nature. Puman, a person. Translation and purport by the disciples of His Divinity A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki his disciples ki. Translation. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is never implicated or affected by these activities. Similarly, the spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with the material nature. Although the living entity enters within the body made of earth, water and fire, and although he is impelled by the three modes of nature created by eternal time, his eternal spiritual nature is never actually affected. Although the sky appears to be affected by the mighty movements of wind, rain, hurricanes, lightning and thunder, etc., the sky, being very subtle, is actually not affected, but is rather the background of such visible activities. Similarly, although the material body and mind undergo innumerable changes such as birth and death, happiness and distress, love and hate, the eternal living entity is merely the background for such activities. The spirit soul, being most subtle, is not actually affected. Only due to misidentification with the superficial activities of the body and mind does the soul undergoes terrible distress within the material world. In this regard, Srila Madhavacharya has pointed out that the individual living entity must struggle to revive his divine spiritual qualities. The living entity is part and parcel of the supreme entity called Krishna, and as such the individual soul is also a reservoir of all godly qualities. The personality of Godhead, however, automatically manifests these qualities without any hindrance, whereas the conditioned soul must struggle to revive such qualities. Thus, although both the personality of Godhead and the personality of the living entity are eternal and transcendental, the personality of Godhead is always supreme. By realizing all this with clear intelligence, the conditioned soul can rise to the spiritual platform. We offer praise. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Nilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapad Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakanitamsha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nityanamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatane Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratishe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyasya Cha Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I seek blessings of all devotees who are present here. Divine Prabhu, Prema Prabhu, and all the devotees here. All devotees present, so that I will be able to speak from Srimad Bhagavatam and repeat from the Acharyas what I have heard for the glorification of the Lord and for my own purification. I seek all the blessings. Here, the Avadut Brahman is saying, we'll just read the translation again. You can repeat after me and then we can discuss. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is never implicated or affected by these activities. Similarly, the spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with the material nature. Although the living entity enters within a body made of earth, water and fire, and although he is impelled by the three modes of nature created by eternal time, his eternal spiritual nature is never actually affected. So here in the translation and saying that spirit soul is never affected by is actually never affected by the modes of nature. Like the sky. In the sky you see sometimes there is storms, clouds and rain, and after some time everything gets clear and sky is as it is, nothing, no change in the sky. It is not affected, nothing mixed with it. And similarly the spirit soul which accepts this body and mind, which undergoes innumerable changes such as birth, death, happiness, distress, love, hate, but actually it is all the spirit soul, actually there is no change in the spirit soul. And in the Bhagavad Gita it says nothing can wind or rain or weapons, nothing can affect the living entity. But here it says that only due to misidentification with the superficial activities of the body and mind does the soul undergoes terrible distress in the material world. Although is it not actually affected, but only due to misidentification. The problem is there only. With body and mind, the soul undergoes terrible distress within the material world. So we see the jiva and a living entity. We see people are actually affected by body and mind, and due to misidentification of this world is going on. This material civilization, modern advancement, all these things only for the misidentification. The spiritual misidentifies with the body and mind. He thinks I am this body and mind, and accordingly all other things comes into the life. So many unnecessary necessities are created, and the whole civilization working so hard to fulfill those things, and to fulfill the desires. When the living entity comes to this material world, is covered by Maya. Avarnatmika Shakti and Pratyakshatmika Shakti. Avarnatmika means first covering. The soul is covered. And his true knowledge of his own self is covered. Now he thinks that he is this body and mind. And then Pratyekatmika Shakti means throwing the soul into the pool of material desires. And so somebody, first you want to affect a person and you don't want to show yourself. First you cover the person with the blanket. Then you beat the person. So the spiritual situation is like that. We are covered and we identify with ourselves, with the body, and the soul which is with Krishna, happy in the spiritual world, and he tries to find that happiness in this material world. Those are all that material desires, and if they are not fulfilled, there is anger, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. Because of all this, the spirit soul is affected, under terrible distress, within the material world. One first identifies with the body. One thinks I am short, I am black. There is also distress. Sometimes people, when I remember when I was before communication, I remember lamba nahi ho raha hu main. So there is like inferiority complex. अभी तो अच्छा लगा मतलब you are sometime my room is here upstairs. सीढ़ी से जाता हूँ so my body is lightweight and short. So I can easily go and come. Sometimes some devotees are very heavy, big, and they can't cross the wall with the ashram. So, and at one time it is distress, identifying with this body. Now we don't much bother short, but there are other problems. A gross level you may cross certain things, but the other things, desires within the heart, selfish desires, trying to fulfill those, and they are not fulfilled, you are in depression. You want to fulfill those things, and actually people really what not they do actually because of this distress. Sometimes people suicide. We heard few months back, I think, here in Elita, there is a quarrel between wife and husband, and in the distress, she jumped from 13th floor, and she was spot dead. Big buildings and all those, but unless that terrible distress going under inside, they want to end up their life on 13th floor. Sometimes we feel how they can do. But people, because of identifying with the body and mind, and they can't tolerate that distress in the mind, and they want to end. They think that they may not have much concept of next life, all those things much. They think that this is only life. Okay, let me end and forget everything. But it's not happen. But actually, all so because of sometimes somebody has health issues or relationship problems, or somebody lost his loved ones, then that is also distress. Identifying body and mind, and this with anadas, kam, krodh, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all this because of pride, kam, krodh, lust, and anger. If lust is not fulfilled, the anger will come. Because of anger, people will act very differently, and consequences of all this distress. We see sometimes people we hear in that anger they kill the other person. Afterward they feel why I did this. These are all shocking things people do. So this is because of the misidentification. Pratyekashma Avanatmika Shakti and Pratyekashatmika Shakti, where the spirit soul is covered and is identifying this body, and with that the desires, you want to fulfill those desires. Actually, you want happiness, but searching in wrong place, and with all these anarthas and under this terrible distress. And in the next paragraph, Srila Madhvacharya has pointed out that the individual living entity must struggle to revive his divine spiritual qualities. The living entity is part and parcel of supreme entity called Krishna, and as such the individual soul is also reserve of all godly qualities. The personality of Godhead, however, automatically manifests these qualities without any hindrance, whereas the conditioned soul must struggle to revive such qualities. So, when Hariprabhu gave this verse to me 1 week before, I just read this purport, and then I was thinking, from that time that thinking started, that the living entity must struggle to revive his divine qualities. Then I was contemplating on how, like spirit soul in this material world is like the Krishna or the Supreme Person of Godhead is, and you can compare it with the whole fire, spiritual qualities, and we are spark, spiritual spark, fire. When it comes out, it becomes like, looks like black. Without, it doesn't exhibit the fiery quality. When it is in the fire, it looks like a golden color. When it comes out, it becomes black. So the living entity situation in this material world is like this, the spark out of the fire. So here, if the living entity must struggle to revive his divine qualities. Like in his, when the pure devotees, who are Nitya Siddhas, pure devotees, they exhibit the divine qualities even in this material world, like Srila Prabhupada, and we see six Goswamis Vrindavan, and many acharyas. They all exhibit these divine qualities without any struggle, because they have they are realized of their relation with Krishna. Mahatmanastu Maham Pada Devim Prakriti Mashita. So they are, we see six Goswamis, they used to, in Krishna consciousness all the time. Only they used to sleep 1 hour or something like that. Sankhya Puraka Nama Ganatvi or Nidraha Kar Vijitav. So they are, for them eating, sleeping is like just for doing that. So otherwise they are in full. Raghunath Das Goswami, he used to drink only 1 morsel of buttermilk. For us, 1 morsel is just last night. After taking full meal, you take little bit. You take morsel of buttermilk. But for pure devotees, Siddhas, they are always in exhibiting those qualities. Srila Prabhupada, he also used to sleep only 2 hours or something like that. And Prabhupada used to travel from one continent to another continent, and writing books, and preaching, management, giving classes, and everything. It's practically, it's impossible. Next, impossible anybody can exhibit such qualities. Doing all the things. Because it is empowered by Krishna and the Devi Prakriti, they can, without struggle, they can exhibit all the spiritual qualities. That's why all foreigners all got attracted to Srila Prabhupada, and they're ready to do anything for Srila Prabhupada. Like Prabhupada says that do this, that's all. That day we went to GV there. Srila Prabhupada disciple, I forget his name, Shruti Prabhu. They were saying how if Prabhupada asks something, if you answer it, you can never be right. And, whatever he says, Prabhupada used to tell something else. But they are so surrendered, and they never saw Prabhupada, he's old man, why he's saying like this. No, they are surrendered, and he's saying that spiritual master service is to purify the disciple. So somehow he used to get another answer. Whatever he says, after some time he stopped giving answers. Prabhupada will know. How do is that? If I say something, Prabhupada will definitely say something, so I will not say anything like that. So in that sense, what I'm saying is he's fully surrendered to Srila Prabhupada, and he wants to, Prabhupada is speaking everything to purify him, like that. So because Prabhupada exhibited such divine qualities, they all got attached and surrendered in their lives. So like that, that is the state of pure devotees. They can exhibit the spiritual qualities always. But for the person who is coming to Krishna consciousness, or before coming to Krishna consciousness, it's like dormant, totally dormant. But after coming to Krishna consciousness, it is like igniting fire and trying to become fiery. But our situation is like, sometimes we are like when you sleep in the night, fire bujh gaya. By night, when you sleep, no fire. But morning you get up immediately. When we take bath, then we come for Mangalat. That is like starting. And you come to the place of fire, like or you see the coal. Sometimes it is looks black. When you put in the fire, slowly it gets red color. Our morning program is like trying to become fiery. So our struggle is how to be fired up in Krishna consciousness. Our goal is to become fully fiery all the time, 24 hours. As Prabhupada instructs, you should chant 24 hours, Prabhupada says. Or Krishna conscious. So when we, that is the, and it starts with the morning program with sound vibration. So I was, from last week I am contemplating on that only, how to be fiery, because when during practice of our Krishna consciousness, we many times, we are not always, fiery, Krishna conscious. Kabhi we are trying to be Krishna conscious by chanting, attending morning program, Bhagavatam class, reading Prabhupada books. But sometimes time goes in another way. So there is a struggle. So that revival to make us fully fiery or Krishna conscious is sadhana bhakti. That is what we follow in our life. So that we here it is saying, living entity must struggle to revive his divine spiritual qualities. That is what in the sadhana bhakti stage, by accepting the bona fide spiritual master, following his instructions, one try to revive his Krishna consciousness. In this regard, we will discuss from Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 22, the process of devotional service, from verse number 105. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing Sanatana Goswami about this sadhana bhakti. We will discuss from there. Because our goal is to be how to be fired up in Krishna consciousness. So this sadhana bhakti where we should apply in our life. Here Sri Chaitanya says, my dear Sanatan, please now hear about the regulatory principles for the execution of devotion service. By this process, one can attain the highest perfection of love of Godhead, which is most desirable. Kriti sadhya bhavet sadhya bhava sa sadhanadibhida nitya siddhasya bhavasya prakrityam hridi sadayata. So, when transcendental devotion service by which love for Krishna is attained is executed by the senses, it is called sadhana bhakti or regulative discharge of devotion service. Such devotion eternally exists within the heart of every living entity. The awakening of this eternal devotion is the potentiality of devotional service. So, in this one, next verse comes. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabunai Savanadi Suddha Chitte Karhe Uruve. So this Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema, this is already there in the heart. It is covered. Savanadi Suddha Chitte Karhe Uruve. By pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of living entities. It is not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So here I am saying, comparing with the spark, fiery spark, or you see the coal, sometimes you see it is black color, but the fire is there within it. It has to come in contact with the fire, then it awakens his state. So for us, when we heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. In this purport, Prabhu says in the previous one, where one by this sleeping person can be awakened by sound vibration. Like that, when we take this process of devotion service, hearing and chanting, then one can revive his Krishna consciousness. So those who have this next sloka is Ragahina Jana Bhaje Shastrera Agnaya Vaidi Bhakti Bali Tare Sarva Shastre Gaya. Those who have not attained the platform of spontaneous attachment in devotional service render devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master according to regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. According to the revealed scriptures, this kind of devotion is called Vaidhi Bhakti. So, those who are not in the spontaneous attachment, Ragana Bhakti, those who have awakened their love for Krishna, they are always in the fire, and they exhibit full qualities. But for one who is not in that state, he has to follow this process, sadhana bhakti. Devotion service rendered under the guidance of the bona fide spiritual master, according to regulative principles mentioned in the revealed scriptures. I will just read the purport and explain. In the beginning, one has to hear from a bona fide spiritual master. This is favorable for advancing in devotion service. According to this process, one hears, chants, remembers and engages in deity worship, acting under the direction of the spiritual master. These are the essential primary activities of devotion service. Devotion service must not be executed for some material purpose. So this is one thing. One should not execute for any material purpose. One should not even have a desire to merge into the absolute truth. One has to render such service out of love only. Ahituki apratihata. Devotion service must be without ulterior motives. Then material conditions cannot check. So even though we are in conditioned state, if we render service, out of love, no material motives, any fulfilled desires, dhanam, janam, sundarim, or anything, only to please Guru and Krishna. And the mental condition will not check. Even though one is conditioned, but within the realm of the sadhana bhakti, one can render this pure devotion service under the guidance of the born petition master. Gradually, one can rise to the platform of spontaneous living service. A child is sent to school by force to receive an education, but when he gets a little taste of education at an advanced age, he automatically participates and becomes a learned scholar. Prabhupada explained. First child don't want to go to school, but you take the children to the school, then slowly they will learn and they will, then they start, they become graduates and like that. Another example Prabhupada says is like typewriting. In the beginning, you have to, where you have to see everything clearly, what you are doing, and you practice. Then slowly afterwards, when you can see, talk with others and you can type. So in the beginning, one has to must struggle. That should be there in our life. We should see in our life whether I am struggling to be Krishna conscious. And in the beginning, it may be struggle like that. When one happily does, slowly, Krishna gives mercy so that you will be. First, we should have this enthusiasm, in our Krishna consciousness. Then one can, for that in our life, we should have inspiration in our life, from superiors, where you are attracted by their qualities and you want to be like them. And then you hear from them and you apply, then that will that really helps to have desire and endeavor. Unless we have role models in our life, ऐसा मैं भक्ति करना चाहता हूँ, how they are relishing in Krishna consciousness, I want to be like them, practice like that. Then you will hear from them and you will apply. Then you will feel enthusiasm in your life. Otherwise, one's own way, have desire, do it's not so easy. You should have inspiration, spiritual masters and seniors, superiors, and even friends also, equals, like your friends who are practicing nicely. You should get inspired by them and take the association. Sangye Shakti Kaliya. When you are in the association, take help of others and got inspired. Have role models in our practice of Krishna consciousness, then it becomes easier. Otherwise, it will be difficult. When you're in difficulty, you will not understand what to do. But if you have seniors, superiors, where in difficulties you can consult and change and apply things. To please under the direction of the spiritual master. Whether you like it or not, we should do it. Then one can, first in the beginning, one must struggle to revive his divine qualities. And whatever services we do are for reviving our Krishna consciousness. Like here in the next sloka it comes, this sloka, this Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavyo na jatuchit. Sarva vidhi nicheda shur yetayor eva kinkara. Lord Vishnu, Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. Lord Vishnu should always be remembered and never forgotten at any time. All the rules and prohibition mentioned in the Shastras should be the servants of these two principles. So, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That means when you are always remembering Krishna and never forgetting means you are fully fired. You are in full Krishna consciousness, Devi Prakriti. But in conditioned state, we are switching off, and like that. So, and for us, like Prabhupada designed in a way that, as we are told to chant 24 hours, all the day, or 64 rounds, or 108 or something. I don't know how many will be here, but we have Prabhupada designed in such a way that we have different activities, chanting, Bhagavatam class, then services centered around Krishna, book distribution. When you go for book distribution, you speak about Krishna, please take in this and you explain from the book, like that. And you remember Krishna. Sometimes, when you're giving, you will also, when people don't hear, then you will also contemplate what I am doing. then we understand the value. Manusyanam Sahasreshu. Then we also take it seriously. And when we go for Buddhist session, it's not easy. And you have to take books, go, and in the winter, marathon comes in winter. So you go. It requires dedication, commitment, sacrifice. So when you go out, you will get Kripa. Prabhupada will, Vishnu Mercy, or Mahaprabhu, Guru Parampara, all Acharyas, they will bestow mercy on us. It becomes easier, more. When we render service to Acharyas, when they are pleased, Asa Prasada Bhagat Prasada, Asa Prasada Nagati Kudu. So when whatever services we do in temple, different services, somebody goes for book distribution, somebody in the kitchen, somebody in worshipping deity, somebody going for programs, all different types of services are that is to revive our Krishna consciousness. Dharmaswanishita pumsam visvakshenu katasudaya navatpadayadratim sarmayevi kevalam. So whatever services we are doing, we may be doing jobs or anything, finally we have to see whether we are developing that attachment to Krishna or not. But if we are lazy or doing minimum things, because ours is a preaching movement, we should be in that mood. If we don't have that mood, then then you will not Kripa milne time lagega. Then, but if we are trying to please Prabhupada and Acharyas, then we apply that in our life, and trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. We should become fired up, and we should help others also to become fiery. When you go out and give books, that is making others also come to Krishna consciousness, make others fiery. So whatever all services we do is for this purpose, to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So that should be our goal, whatever we are doing services. So we have to mold our life in such a way that we are, as years passing, we are increasing in Krishna consciousness. But if we don't, if we are not enthusiastic in our Krishna consciousness, giving Krishna consciousness to others, or we are lazy in our Krishna consciousness and doing minimum, then it takes time. But if we, enthusiastically participate in all the daily activities, morning program, taking, chanting the holy names, sincerely, and practicing Krishna and trying to give to others, then by mercy of the Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, we can revive, our Krishna consciousness. So it will be struggle in the beginning, but when we follow in the footsteps of our Acharya Srila Prabhupada, then we can exhibit those qualities. So this is what, and we should not do which are prohibited or which should be avoided. We should give up those things. Otherwise, it's like you're fired up in the morning program or by chanting. When you do things, anything connected to sinful activities or offensive activities, then you are pouring water. Then it becomes smoke. Smoke will come. So we should be careful in the daytime, even in the morning program also. How much we are having that eagerness, that much you can observe. Otherwise, if eagerness is not there, mind will go here and there. Even during chanting or morning program time class. So the sound vibration is very important, and hearing. For that we should have that eagerness. For that we should have role models in our life. We are inspired by some devotees, and we want to practice like that and take help of them like that. Hare Krishna. This is what I thought and heard from devotees. If devotee have any comments or questions, or otherwise, we have only 2 minutes. Kendra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. So today, Shintu Prabhu will share. Speak. एक लाइन शेयर.
तो बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन में मेन चीज होता है वो बुक लेके लोगों के पास पहुंचना है. जैसे प्रभु जी बोले थे ना, क्या नाम वो, नवीन निरोध प्रभु. आई वॉज वेरी मच इंस्पायर्ड बाय हिम. प्रभु सेज दैट कैसे एक ड्यूटी क्वेश्चन पूछे थे प्रभु कैसे बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करना चाहिए, तो बोले ये इसका कोई रूल नहीं होता है, तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा लोगों को साथ में हम लोग रीच आउट कर सकते हैं. तो मैं जब जाता हूँ मैं एक चीज़ देखता हूँ, कोई लिया व नहीं लिया तो उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं ये सर्विस है, एब्सोल्यूट प्लेटफॉर्म है, भगवान कृष्ण का सेवा है, तो उसमें कोई फेलियर नहीं होता है. हम लोग को एक डर रहता है ये फेलियर हो जाएगा, नहीं लेगा तो हमारा 0 स्कोर होगा तो क्या होगा. और प्रभुपाद में लीलामृत में पढ़ रहे थे, वह और भी जगह में प्रभुपाद लेक्चर में बोलते हैं दिस सर्विस ऑफ कृष्ण इज एब्सोल्यूट. इन एब्सोल्यूट प्लेटफॉर्म देयर इज नथिंग कॉल्ड फेलियर एंड सक्सेस बिकॉज कृष्णा इज बियॉन्ड द ड्यूअलिटी. सो जब हम लोग बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करने के लिए जाएंगे तो ऐसे ही चेतना में जाएंगे, तो अगर फेलियर भी हुआ तो नहीं हुआ तो नहीं हुआ तो सेवा तो हो गया, सेवा तो इटर्नल है ना. भगवान तो उसको रिकॉग्नाइज कर लिया, मैं सेवा कर दिया उनका, 3 घंटा 4 घंटा ठंडा में उनको लिए किया. सो एनीवे तो ऐसे ही थोड़ा इंस्पिरेशन आता है. थैंक यू. तो हरिओम प्रभु बहुत अच्छा, सबको हर दिन ये करते हैं पुश करते हैं, वो जाएंगे क्या नहीं जाएंगे, मैनेजमेंट करते हैं पूरा. सो आई एम वेरी ग्रेटफुल टू प्रभु, ये प्रभु हर दिन सबको लेके जाता है, जैसे कुछ स्कोर हो रहा है. हरे कृष्णा. थैंक यू.